Hi everyone, I'm Miss Pink Boss Lady, and today I will be binding my Invisible Man book. I know I've only done one book binding project before this one, but this one in particular was so challenging, it took me 2 tries to get it right. I was just so excited about some ideas I had for the book that I kind of disregarded the assembling part of the book. But that's okay, I just had to do it again, and I got to solve some of the issues that I had with the first book. So it turned out good at the end. As you can see here, based on the dimensions of my book, I made cardboard cutouts and I'm covering them up with canvas fabric. Don't forget that the spine section of the book has to be a couple millimeters smaller than the actual spine, width-wise, because you need that space, those indentations on the side, in order to be able to open and close the book. Then I decided to paint with white acrylic paint as my base. And please guys, do not make the same mistake I did. I totally forgot to put wax paper underneath, and the paint went right through the canvas. It got my peeling mat all painted up. No worries, I fixed that with alcohol, but just a word of warning, put something underneath to protect the surface you're working on. So even though you guys might see me paint this for the first time, I can assure you it's my second time doing it. I will show you the first version of it in a bit, but I do want to explain why I did this landscape. And I'm gonna try to tell you without spoiling so much of the book, even though I highly recommend it. It has everything, it's funny, has horror, mystery, so I really want you guys to read it. But I did this landscape based on chapter 9, which is where we get introduced to a character named Mr. Marvel. I kid you not, that chapter was hilarious, and I had accompanied my mom to a doctor's appointment, so holding back my laughter was one of the hardest things I've ever done. So in this chapter, Mr. Marvel is sitting down on a field trying out some shoes when Mr. Invisible Man comes by and starts talking to him. Their interaction is hilarious. So I really want you guys to read it, but that's what I based myself on when I decided to paint the landscape or the cover of the book. And it had to be in a snowy field because the book takes place in winter, and you could see the Invisible Man struggle with the weather a lot. He'd be sneezing too much, giving himself away at times, you know. It's hilarious. As promised, here's the original version of the cover design. I printed the letters and I pasted them, and let me just say that the tree was bothering me so much, not only the peak part but also the branches. They were not really symmetrical, and I know they're not supposed to be symmetrical, but I just wanted them to at least be an even amount on both sides. Now, I know I have been jumping back and forth between the first version and the second version. And this here was the first version of the book. And my mistake here was that I didn't cut, and that I cut a little too much on the edges. And that's why you could see still some of the cardboard. I fixed it on the second version. However, I cannot find the video for that. So I just decided to show this one, since it's the same process. And then remember I told you guys I made a lot of mistakes? Well, here are two more. One, I totally forgot to put the bookmark ribbon. And I had to like put more mesh on top of the mesh I had already put so I could secure it. And two, I put the mesh on the book paper, which I was only supposed to put on the spine, and that led to more problems. This is because I realized too late, and so this made me decide to put the like pretty cover paper that's gonna be inside, like completely pasted into that paper, and that just made the integration into the book not very smooth. It was hard because that's not the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to just put a little bit of glue and then have the paper like on both sides. And also, I used regular paper for this. I printed it out on both sides when I should have put a harder paper. For the second version, I actually went to Michael's and got a harder type of paper that made it so much better. This is why this video took so long to make, because I had to make two versions of the book. But guys, please learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I did. That's why I'm telling you what I did, so you don't do it. You do it better, like the second time around. So here we're jumping back to the second and final version of the book that I did. There are a couple things to explain here, so bear with me. I might talk a lot. First thing is, I lost the footage of when I put the lettering. These are sticky letters. I decided to put sticky letters this time because I had already taken so much time. I didn't want to spend more time like in calligraphy, which I am a perfectionist, so it takes a while. Like it took me, I want to say, an hour just to do the name of the author at the bottom, and it's very, very little. Number two is that I am using a special paint in this section, and I'm still not telling what it is. You just have to wait and see till the end of the video. And number three, for future reference, and if you guys need it, let me just say that doing this little stencil was really fantastic and accurate. Like if you need to do something like this, like with acrylic or some other medium, I just printed it out and I did the cutout. But in order to be like more accurate and precise, you have to wet it with a little paper towel. Try to wet it as much as possible in the section that you want it to be, and it sticks pretty well. I still put tape just in case, but it does work pretty well. However, the paper might still stick to the medium, like this time to the book, but just let it dry, let the paint dry, and afterwards you just like with the same or a different paper towel, you just pass it through and it should come off. That's what happened with the numbers of the books in the back. I was also under the impression that the special paint that I used might have partially kind of been the cause of why the first design got ruined. I'll show you how it got ruined. But so I decided to put the book in before I started using the special paint. I pressed it before I put the paint. And after the paint was done and dry, I decided to put a couple layers of the sealer just so everything stays in place for a while. Forever. Mark how I said that the paint was partially the cause of the book getting destroyed, and I said partially because I forgot to put wax paper again, and I feel that would have probably helped. Either way, the moment I opened my book press to see what had become of the many hours I put into that book cover, I felt completely destroyed. But to be honest, in retrospect, it was kind of a blessing in disguise since I had made so many mistakes. So it allowed me to fix the many things that I wasn't comfortable with in the first version. And it served as a reminder that even though things get hard sometimes, like, you don't have to give up. One has to get up and do it again until you do it right or feel comfortable with it until you achieve your goal. And here's the long-awaited final result. I hope you guys enjoy the surprise of me using invisible paint to make the invisible man a little bit visible. As a bonus, you could see I added the experimental invisible cat as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me on my journey to make art. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Until next time, bye-bye.